The story begins with the request that Jehovah gives to Jonah to travel to Nineveh and inform his citizens about what would happen to their city. Due to the sin committed, it will be destroyed after 40 days. Since Jonah was a rebellious prophet, he decided to disobey the order and set out on a journey to Tarshish, a place where the prophet felt he could stay away from Jehovah. It was from Jaffa, the port city of Israel, that Jonah left for Tarshish. However, Jehovah, because of man's disobedience, caused a great storm. In the middle of the worrying situation, Jonah chooses to sleep in the boat's hold, while the sailors start asking their various gods for help. It should be remembered that the sailors, due to their status as foreigners, did not know the existence of Yahweh. The captain of the ship realized that Jonah was the only person who did not ask his God for help and decided to wake him up so that he could pray to him. Other sailors, along with their prayers, also threw things into the sea as a measure to lighten the load of the boat and deal with the storm. The storm is getting stronger and doesn't seem to stop. The sailors decide to try their luck to find out who was responsible for this incident. With the advice of the Lord, the lot fell to Jonah, and he, when he saw himself cornered, had to admit that he had failed to carry out the order he had been given. To avoid the suffering of the other sailors, the prophet asks that they be thrown into the sea. Jonah was thrown into the sea, and immediately the fury of the storm stopped, causing the sailors who previously did not know Jehovah to become faithful believers. Once in the sea, Jehovah made a whale, a big fish, swallow the prophet, and he stayed inside for 3 days and nights. While he remained in the whale's belly, Jonah continued to pray to Jehovah, uttering psalms like the following that referred to his intercession. In the midst of the prophet's pain and despair, Jonah promised to fulfill what was given to him before, and realized the saving power of his God. The next thing is that Jehovah orders a fish to vomit Jonah on dry land, thus symbolizing the rebirth of the prophet. After being cast out of the whale's belly, Jonah is ordered to go to Nineveh a second time. On this occasion, the prophet agrees without question and moves to the city to announce the message. The said message is nothing more than an announcement that after 40 days the city will be demolished. Immediately, the inhabitants of Nineveh began to raise prayers to Jehovah. Likewise, the king of the city orders all citizens to do penance. So all residents hold faith in the power of God. Moved by the actions and repentance of the population, Jehovah decides to forgive the city and therefore its inhabitants for the sins committed. When 40 days passed, and he realized that God had mercy on the people of Nineveh, an angry Jonah decided to leave the city and even asked Jehovah to take his life. In order to make Jonah understand the purpose of his action, Jehovah makes a leafy plant a wall that gives the prophet shade. However, the prophet's happiness is short-lived. At night, the insect causes the plant to dry up. After being exposed to strong winds and hot sun, Jonah asks to die again, saying that he would rather run away from this fate than continue to live under those conditions. Thanks to these events, God gave Jonah the most important lesson of mercy in his entire life. The rebellious prophet took pity on the plant that he did not cultivate, but it appeared one night and disappeared the next. This example was taken by Jehovah, so that Jonah would understand that just as he had mercy on the plant, so his God did to Nineveh. The Lord asked Jonah how he could not have mercy on this city that had about 130,000 inhabitants and a large number of animals. As we can see, this is a story that initially shows the son's rebellion against his father's command, but later shows the father's compassion who decides to forgive his son. The book of Jonah is a different text from other members of the Bible. This is because in this writing the main character is a prophet who is at the top of his prophecy. The story can be interpreted as a representation of the benevolent God and the Jewish people of that time, as well as the human behavior of the settlers. Nineveh was a city known for negative things and for not believing in Jehovah. These things affected Jonah's attitude before the idea of sending a message to that city. One of the things that has been touched upon in this story is the fact that somehow the prophet was displeased with God for showing mercy to these people. Subscribe in our YouTube channel Simulezi Arena Media. For more stories, press subscribe button to be notified once we post another video.